Your wrists are tied with rope, and your back is open from the lashings. In front of you, a man with a white wig. Your wrists are tied with rope, and your back.
What's Papa Game? What's Papa Game? What's Papa Game? Back with a yeah. Back with another video. You know what I'm saying? Thank God for waking us up for another day. It's nighttime for me right now. So yeah. But let me know how your let me know how your night, then your morning, afternoon, and evening been. Oh, bro. But let's get to the let's get to this video. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sick. You know what I'm saying? Just hit a little dab. You know what I'm saying? Crazy shit. But what it's like being black in every era. You know, it's kind of crazy. Great title. But let's dig into this
Is
thing. You
open
know,
from the
I'm kind
lashings.
of curious about
In
it.
front of you, a man with a white wig.
And I
raises
need
his
some
head.
water.
You are lot number 12.
Yeah, I need that
This is
water.
how the life of millions of people taken from Africa began. But before all that, Africa was a prosperous place, and the color black was a symbol of status. You were in the Mali Empire in the 14th century. There lived Mansa Musa, the wealthiest man in history. The black people were great traders and warriors, and had prestigious libraries that attracted scholars from other cultures. And most importantly, there is no system that assigns you inferiority based on your skin color. But that vision is about to be shattered. On the coasts of the Gulf of Guinea, ships with unfamiliar flags appear. First, they bring mirrors, fabrics, and trinkets. Then weapons. And behind the weapons, a new value system, one in which your body begins to have a price. And that price is not a symbol of wealth, but of capture. No one knows it yet, but you are on the verge of a global transformation where the most diverse and autonomous continent in the world will be reduced to a caricature of poverty, chaos, and darkness. Let's go back to the beginning. You've just been sold to your new owner, but you understand nothing. You didn't.
When playing games on
It's
PC, do you ever
crazy.
wonder if someone had a
You
clip of
don't know
you in it?
nothing.
Download Metal, then go to Albums,
But my
click through
thing
it, and
is,
connect to
bro,
any.
break any.
I don't understand, bro. Cause my thing is, bro, why nobody even think this to like? I mean, I know it probably was. I mean, damn, it ain't enough. Like you feel me? To show that it was, but I'm pretty sure it was people out there fighting. Yeah. Nah. But anyways, but shit, bro, it was a lot of them, bro. That's what I'm saying. It was a lot of them, bro. So why nobody just like all had the mindset to just jump them on some insect? Like you see how the ants be jumping all the insects? I mean insects. You feel me? They be getting down through there. Same thing, bro. It's like and then they be on horses and shit, bro. And they probably about like 20 of them out there, bro. And then about black people, Mexicans, whatever color, you feel me? Bro, it's probably like a whole bunch more than them in the field, king. Y'all could have, man, y'all really could have changed some shit. Nigga, but you really think about it, they probably like the peaceful people, but we ain't really peaceful.
laws or do anything wrong.
They was
Your only sin was
back
being
then
born
for
with the wrong
sure.
color. At the wrong moment, they tie you up and brand you. And before you can understand anything, you are on a ship heading to a continent you didn't even know. The air
Why
smells
nobody
of
ain't
rotting,
fight back?
and you have been weeks without setting foot on land. Some around you jump into the sea to escape. Others simply die chained, and you survive. But the real nightmare has not yet begun. When the ship arrives, a white man examines you as if you were a horse. He checks your teeth, your muscles, and your age. Then he puts a number on your chest. That number is your new name. No one asks you what you know how to do. No one offers you a deal. From now on, your only function is to work until your body breaks or is replaced. The world has invented a category for you: black slave. And that label will be exported, normalized, and legalized for
Hey, is this
centuries.
racist watching
That was
this?
being
Like,
black
it's
in the
not racist
17th
if we
century,
watching
in the
it.
Caribbean,
But like
in
the
Brazil,
person who's
and in
saying
the
this
southern
shit,
United
like,
States.
like the person who talking, this shit ain't right. He gotta be some type of, you feel me? Is he even? But he can't be. Nigga sound British or something. Not even British, but somewhere like in England or something. Like he sound like, but he know English. Some like London or something. Some over there. but he know English. You know proper English.
Your body was an asset in your life and investment. But in the midst of that horror, something
Bro, it sound like he back in the days and shit with the knights and shit.
begins to form. Small acts of resistance, coded songs, nightly escapes, and slaves who oppose even at
Man,
the...
hold up, what?
But in the midst of that horror, your body was an asset in your life and investment. But in the midst of that horror, something begins to form. Small acts of resistance, coded songs, nightly escapes, and slaves who oppose even at the cost of their lives. Because even when everything around you says you are worthless, there is a spark that no one can extinguish. The will to be free. And the end of slavery did not exactly bring freedom. What came next was more subtle, more legal, and in some cases, just as cruel. What many do not know is that transatlantic slavery was not just a human tragedy, it was a globalized economic system. More than 12 million Africans were forcibly transported to America between the 16th and 19th centuries. It is estimated that at least 2 million died during the journey. They didn't even arrive alive at the destination. Portugal and Great Britain were responsible for almost 70% of all the slave trade. And Brazil received almost 40% of all the African slaves in the world, while the United States received only 4%. But there the descendants grew in number because slavery became reproductive. Yes, slaves were forced to have children, not to create a family, but to multiply the master's wealth. The daily life of a slave was worse than you could imagine. Your day started before dawn and could last up to 16 hours. Sugarcane, cotton, tobacco. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you can't stop. A slave who broke down or fell ill too soon was a financial loss. One who held up was pushed to the limit. And if you ever thought about escaping, the consequences were brutal. Mutilations, public punishments with steel whips, collars with spikes to prevent you from sleeping, and in extreme cases, you were executed as a warning to others. But the most wicked thing was not just the physical aspect, but the attempt to annihilate your
What could
memory
be more worse? Like, you hear me? Like,
with a method called cultural erasure technique. Your original name vanished, and you were given another one. Your language was punished, and your religion was banned. Families were systematically separated at auctions to prevent you from feeling part of a group.
that's crazy.
The less you knew about who you were, the easier it was to accept who they said you were. And yet, something remained. These systems were not always perfect, and sometimes cracks appeared. Encrypted chants, new hybrid cultures used to emerge to blend in without being noticed, and other kinds of signals that revealed the human instinct for survival.
You.
Man,
Just
this
you.
shit wild though. I ain't
Building
gonna
your
lie. It's
app.
very, very interesting.
On base 44.
This shit slaps. This is
Describe
bang.
it. And it's
So
real.
I'm wondering like, why he ain't put no time on it. Yeah.
For example, Follow the Drinking Gourd was not just a children's song. It was a coded route to escape north, guided by the North Star. The slaves in Haiti mixed Catholic symbols with the African gods of voodoo. They did this to hide their beliefs from the masters without losing them. In Brazil, Candomblé did the same. In Cuba, Santeria. Each region adapted its tools, but the goal was the same: to keep alive a root they couldn't kill. Even the language was a field of resistance. Creoles like Patois or Palenque.
Hey, so you thinking like, if we remember, if they wiped us out if they wiped us out right on GTA and shit, would they be able to like in a movie? Would they be like, would they be able to get their memory back and be like, you feel me? 'Cause that's crazy. Niggas went through a lot. I thought it was just you feel me, just the whips and the hanging and the what, killing the babies and killing them and separating everybody from families. You feel me? It's more than that. They out here doing voodoo and racing niggas' bonds, making you forget your words, but not physically, not like with powers and shit. They doing that shit like, man. They catch you saying that shit, singing that shit, nigga. They whipping you, nigga. You nigga, tongue out. They probably doing shit like that. Crazy. GTA.
Hero were born as mixes between African languages, Spanish, English, or French. And then there was rebellion. Because yes, there was also rebellion. In Haiti, the slaves forcibly took their freedom.
Okay.
The 1791 revolution,
Somebody did
led
it.
by figures like Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines,
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, bruh. That's what you feel me? I felt it. I felt this song where they might be my people right there, man. They might be.
led by figures.
Let me see. Nah. I probably do got the nigga cheekbone though. I ain't gonna lie. Got that dude that probably do got that little line right here. Bro. That nigga eyes big as hell. Nigga look spooked. Nigga, what he seen on that paper? I need to see what's on that paper, bruh. Nigga trying to deal with the devil. Nigga spooky as hell. I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. This picture kind of painting.
Like Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines defeated the French and founded the first free country governed by black people. And in the United States, although many revolts were brutally crushed, like Nat Turner's in 1831,
I know about that.
each one left a crack, one that showed that not even the most savage punishment could extinguish the idea of dignity. But then abolition came, and with it, another mask. There was no land to start anew, nor justice. Only a new form of control emerged, disguised as freedom. Just a few years after the abolition, the southern United States invented a new form of oppression, the Jim Crow laws, a set of rules that, without
We
ever
all know
mentioning the
about
word
that.
slave, made it very clear what you were, a black person who had to stay in their place. And what did it mean to be free in this new system? Imagine walking down the street and not being able to use the same bathroom, the same train car, or sit on the same park bench if a white person was already occupying it. If you were given a dirty look and responded, you could be lynched. Even economic success could be a reason for punishment. Black schools were underfunded, without books or desks in good condition. Hospitals didn't admit black patients if they were full of white ones. The most prestigious universities simply rejected your application. And all this was not an anomaly. It was the law. But during a brief period,
And thinking about all of that and seeing how the world is now, it's real life sad. It's like, damn, we ungrateful as fuck. Excuse me, YouTube, but that's just real. Like, damn, black people ungrateful. Nigga, we ain't know how to read. Nigga, they white, bro. Everything I just said, bro. They took everything from. They stripped us, nigga. Nigga, they took our coochie in our wiener, bruh. They took our woman hair and titties, bruh. Balloons and shit on GTA. They took our man, bro. They stripped us from everything and they gave us what they want us to have. That's crazy. And we barely even had shit. And then look how much the heroes we had and work hard for this shit to get us to read now. Bro, we able to walk around the same people, you feel me? When we really should be, you know what I'm saying? Then on top of that, bro, we can eat, gang. Nigga, we can make meals, bro. Why you think black people know how to make? Why you think we know how to cook so fucking good, bro? Cause we ain't had shit. Why you think nigga our struggle meals be hidden? Nigga, we can make anything out of nothing. Cause they ain't gave us shit. But then look at it now though. We got here killing each other. Niggas out here building different forms and shit. We back. But yo, people building different forms and shit, gangs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like what they doing, but they ain't even separating themselves. Nigga, they uniting and shit, selling us and shit. That shit crazy. Nigga, we ungrateful though, for sure.
called Reconstruction between 1865 and 1877.
Oh God, I be asking my grandma. I'm gonna pop out hella questions. They said they mama though was in that shit. Damn.
There was a ray of hope. Constitutional amendments were passed promising equality. Some African Americans even reached Congress, like Hiram Revels, the first African American senator in 1870. But that window was short-lived. Groups like the Ku Klux Klan began to spread terror.
See what I'm saying?
And when the federal troops withdrew from the South, everything
Yo,
returned.
see, that's the thing though. That's the thing though. You see the white people when they make clans and shit, them niggas don't even be killing each other clans. So when y'all niggas be out here making different gangs and shit, y'all be killing each other. Y'all can at least like nigga, you feel me? We don't want to start no war though, but like, that shit is wild to me.
Turned to normal, one where racism became state policy again. Since 1896, with the famous case Plessy versus
I'm
Ferguson,
tripping.
the
Most people
Supreme
wasn't
Court
born in that
legalized the
shit.
doctrine of
Ain't nobody was born in no 18, nigga. I'm tripping.
separate but equal, which allowed
Hell
schools,
no.
public spaces, and even cemeteries to be segregated by law. For more than 50 years, if an African American protested, organized, or simply stood out too much, they were seen as a threat. And then came the punishment. Between 1880 and 1950, more than 4,000 black people were lynched in the United States. Some were shown on photographic postcards. Yes, like it was a fair. Others were burned alive in front of crowds. One of the most remembered cases was that of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old boy who was tortured and killed in 1955 for allegedly flirting with a white woman. Emmett Till's mother, Mamie Till, decided to display his body in an open casket. That image was so powerful that it sparked a wave of national outrage. But that was an exception. The norm was silence. Meanwhile, in the shadows, and without anyone seeing it coming, in churches, barbershops, cafes, and basements, the black community organized peacefully and nonviolently. They wanted to show society that they were just as capable. There were schools founded by former slaves, newspapers written by and for African Americans, and little by little, a collective identity that did not ask for permission to exist. Music played a crucial role. Blues, jazz, and gospel were ways of telling an experience that the system wanted to silence. Being black in this era meant living under constant threat, but it also meant creating beauty amidst the siege. And that set the stage for what would come next. A generation that was no longer willing to bow their heads and ready to fight for their rights. But in the meantime, in other parts of the world, the news of the abolition was just arriving. And Europe understood that if it could no longer exploit enslaved bodies, it would do so with the lands where they were born. In 1884, during the Berlin Conference, European countries divided Africa on a map
Bro, why is we going backwards?
without consulting a single African person. France, the United Kingdom, Belgium, Germany, and other powers imposed their flags, languages, and systems over almost the entire continent. And they did so under a narrative of civilization that concealed a much more brutal reality. Schools taught European history, local languages were banned, and African names were erased from the records. In the Congo, under the personal control of King Leopold II of Belgium, millions died or were mutilated for not meeting rubber production quotas. In the French colonies, special laws were applied only to natives, including arrests without trial, torture, and forced labor.
What? What? Nah, I'm doing a video right now.
In the whole colonial system, being black meant being marginalized, even in your own land. But despite the repression, forms of resistance emerged. Traditions were orally preserved, African beliefs mixed with imposed religions, and political movements began to
Get exclusive Mortal Kombat 2 wallpapers for your PC.
organize. After World War II, with Europe weakened, the struggles for independence became unstoppable. In 1957, Ghana became the first African country to gain independence. And in the following decades, more than 30 countries managed to break free from colonial rule. While Africa was finding its voice again, on the other side of the ocean, another black generation was getting ready. They were not fighting against colonizers, but against internal laws. However, the goal was the same: to exist with dignity. In the United States, legal segregation was still alive in every corner of the southern part of the country. And there, a generation was born determined to challenge everything. Martin Luther King led boycotts and marches, while Malcolm X raised his fist with a different kind of message. In the southern streets, young people risked their lives to sit at the same counter as a white person. In Oakland, the Black Panthers patrolled their own neighborhoods armed because they knew nobody else was going to protect them. And it wasn't just a local battle. Across the ocean, countries like Ghana, Algeria, and Nigeria were breaking away from European colonialism.
Imagine each.
Some gained their independence.
Hey, imagine if each race had their own country. We just all divided and shit in our own race and shit. Shit. It kind of is. Low-key kind of is, but we not type shit.
I mean, some of us are.
Like, you really think about it, it really is. But yeah. It's funny.
What if Earth was, what if Earth was the, damn, what the fuck was you talking about?
On something on. Wonder if everybody was separated and shit. Had their own country as a race.
What if Earth was country for humans and, like, the planet was a country for the aliens?
Independence through elections, others with rifles. But they all knew the same thing. Dignity is not negotiable. Music and ideas crossed borders. Jazz was playing in New York, in Lagos, Afrobeat, in black universities in America. Fanon was read. While in Africa, people talked about Pan-Africanism and continental unity. The struggles were different, but increasingly connected. And with that connection, black identity began to transform. It was no longer just about surviving. It was about organizing, speaking, and creating. But the system knew it. Malcolm was killed, and King was too. And many African leaders met the same fate, because being black was still seen as a threat. Even so, something was irreversible. For the first time in centuries, being black also meant having a voice. They didn't know it, but in a marginalized neighborhood of the Bronx, a group of young black people had just created a language that would dominate the planet: hip-hop. While the news spoke of drugs, poverty, and violence, they responded with beats, graffiti, and verses that told the truth no one wanted to hear. Racism was still there, but it was no longer just law. Now it came in the form of labels, stereotypes, and invisible chains. Music became storytelling, cinema a mirror, and fashion a code. In the 80s and 90s, black artists went from being on the margins to setting global trends. Public Enemy denounced state surveillance. Tupac talked about systemic racism and police brutality. Spike Lee filmed neighborhoods that Hollywood had ignored for decades. Black culture stopped being a subculture and became an economic engine. And that scared many, because if before the system was imposed with laws, now it did so with surveillance, prison, and exclusion. In the United States, during the war on drugs, mass incarceration disproportionately affected black men. Despite consuming drugs at similar rates, they were 4 times more likely to go to prison than white people. The laws were not racist, but their effects were. In South Africa, after decades of apartheid, Nelson Mandela was released from prison after 27 years and became president. And the country celebrated its freedom without erasing the systems of inequality that continued to operate economically, in land ownership, and in representation. Being black in the 90s was a new kind of contradiction. Television showed you triumphs, but the system showed you limits. You could get a Grammy, but not a second chance if you were born in the wrong neighborhood. You could be a movie star and still be followed by a security guard in a store. Nowadays, you can see black people on magazine covers, being awarded, leading companies, or even a country. But that doesn't mean racism has disappeared. It has just changed form. When Barack Obama was elected president in 2008, many saw him as a symbol of change. And yet, just a few years later, the killing of young black people like Trayvon Martin or Michael Brown, showed again that your skin color can still cost you your life, even if you have done nothing. This is how Black Lives Matter was born, first as a message and then as a movement that spread across the world. Cameras now record what was previously ignored. But that doesn't mean there is justice. Today, racism is not always overt. Sometimes it lives in algorithms, in resumes that do not receive replies, in neighborhoods without investment, and in selective police checks. Being black can still mean having to constantly prove your worth, that you are not a threat, and that you deserve to be where you are. And at the same time, there has never been so much visibility. Black culture drives fashion, music, cinema, and language. The influence is global. From Paris to New York, a new black generation is telling their story in their own voice. It's not all struggle. There's also pride, creation, and community